Hi, my name is Rosa Kruse. I'm with Treasured Babies, and I'm going to be rooting this toddler that I have been rooting for quite a few weeks now, actually, probably more like a month or so. And I've been rooting her more like 2 months. She's a big head, so she's taking a little bit longer than normal. But I am taking a bunch of hair in my left hand, and I have the needle in my right hand. I am right-handed, so I hold the needle in my right hand. I am going to cut this with a trash can to make it even, so that it won't stay even very long because I'll be pulling hairs out. But I'm going to be rooting a mono rooting, so I'm pulling out one strand at a time. I pull it out and push it in. Pull it out, push it in real close to the other one that I just did. I'm trying to stay real close together because we don't want to see a lot of scalp. Our customer does not want to see. She wants a full head of hair, so we're doing a full head of hair, which means it takes me about 1 hour to do a square inch, especially if I'm having to stop and pull out hairs that don't belong or fix a problem. It definitely will take me an hour. Here's a thick strand that I do not want to root because it's coarse and it's just not as friendly to styling as the thinner strands, so I'm pulling it out. And then I see that I left a gap here, so I'm filling in the gap. I try to fill in gaps as I go, because if I wait until I have hair all around and then I see a gap, it's a lot harder to fill in. It's easier to do it as you go. It depends on what kind of hair you're rooting and whether you want it to be real thick. And this one has a real thick head of hair, so I don't want to leave any gaps. So I pull out the strand and I bring it in and I put it in where I want to. I missed that one, so I'm going to have to do it again. I'm going to try to go in the same hole so that I don't have another hole. I try not to have extra holes in the scalp that are not being filled with hair. So I'm filling in the gaps right here because I had already done this section, so I'm filling in the gaps here. Here we go. So I pull and poke. Pull, drag to where I want it and poke it. I'm using a 43G needle. On this doll I have used the Heavenly Illusions 42, the pink one. I have used 38 on the sections where the vinyl was really hard, and then on sections where I have, because as I glue sections of hair after I put them in, and sometimes the glue runs a little bit, and so if it's real thick with glue there, I use the 38 so I can poke right through the glue. I want to make sure that I can glue the new hair in, otherwise it's going to pull out when they're combing it. And this toddler will probably have her hair styled in pigtails and a ponytail, and I want to make sure that the hair stays in as the customer styles her hair. This needle, I have a file and I sharpened it a little bit earlier today because it was already getting dull, and I think it's probably pretty dull already. I'll probably do a couple more rows and I'll switch out the needles, because anytime you start having to do it more than once, that means your needle is dull. Change the needle. Right now it seems like it's doing okay. That was my mistake, as I didn't do the right side of the needle. And I just am going in a straight row this way, but I'm going up a column. This way I don't have to be turning the head so much. Normally when I'm rooting, I listen to music. I spend a lot of time listening to music, or sometimes I watch reruns of Golden Girls, reruns of Reba. And I already know, I've seen them so many times that I don't need to be looking at the television. I'm just kind of listening to it just to keep me company. Sometimes I'll talk on the phone. I'll call my sisters and I'll talk to them on the speakerphone while I'm reading. And so I'm not wasting a lot of time. I do go slower if I'm not concentrating, but I'm not wasting that time doing two things at one time, which I'm not very good at. Normally if I'm talking, I can't be doing anything else, but the rooting is starting to become more second nature, so I can do that and talk. I can do that and watch a little bit of TV. Not a lot. That's a real thick strand, and it's really black. I'm going to go ahead and go back and pull it out. It's just too completely different from the other strands. I don't want it to stand out. Even though with all this hair, it probably wouldn't. You wouldn't even notice it. But I know it's there. This baby is, she's a toddler. She's a pretty big toddler. I have not disclosed which toddler it is that I'm rooting on my Facebook page yet, because I want it to be kind of, not a surprise, because I have shown her face before, but I want her to have hair before I show the rest of her face, because some people just aren't kind when they make comments about babies that are not finished. So I want to at least have some hair on her before I show her face. I'm in the corner here, so I'm having to really hold the hair down with my little finger, my pinky, and then push the needle. I like using this tool, but I've used it so much today that I have kind of a blister. It's starting to welt a little bit. I probably will root only for another hour or so on this one. Today I've already rooted her for 5 hours. I've done this section. It's taken me, I'm going on 6 hours now. And yeah, it takes me, like I said earlier, I think maybe I didn't say it, but it takes me about 1 hour for every square inch. And she's got a big head, so I think she'll take me every bit of 150 hours plus. I'm already over 100 hours, and I still have the top of her head, the front part of her head to go. So here's another big strand that I'm going to go ahead and take out. It just seems real coarse. This one is thick too, but it's flexible as pliant, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Some of them you can just tell they're like doing their own thing. I don't want them in here, because then they'll want to do their own thing on the hair, and it's going to be really hard to keep them combed. I pulled that one out. I have to be real careful when I'm holding my hand. The bunch of hair in my left hand, that I am not holding it so tight that when I pull, sometimes I pull it out, I'm holding it so tight. I've used up a bunch of hair. I'm going to get another bunch. my hair comes in this is live hair, live or live, I don't know which, and it's got a lot of glue that makes it a little bit more difficult. Normally I don't have hair that has had glue that spills over, but this one has had it. And I'm gonna cut a bunch right here. And then I go over the trash can and I pull out any little hairs that are in here. Then I go ahead and cut it to make it even though, like I said, it won't stay even very long. Okay, and then I start again. I'm going to go ahead and continue in this little section right here. So I pull, I bring down, oops, and I poke. Pull, bring down, poke. Pull, bring down, poke. Pull, there we go. Now I'll just go all the way again. Reading a toddler is a little bit different than a baby, because a baby you can go a little bit less hair, or plus it's got shorter hair. The longer hair takes longer for me to pull it out like that. So it just takes a little bit longer. Everything adds to it, you know. I just rooted the one hair and I don't like it. It's sticking up. So I'm going to pull it out. And I'm going to go in the same hole if I can. I try to, a little hard, but it's in the corner. And put one hair in. I haven't poked yet. There you go. Okay, then I start again on this side. I like to work. Actually, I can't really go this way. I start going real quick when I come backwards, so I just always start on the left side and work to the right. Left to right. It just makes it a lot easier for me. I know some people can do it, come left. I start going crooked. That's another two strands I don't like. I pull them out, start again. They're real coarse. That's why I pull them out, because they feel rough. Once I put them in and I'm pulling the hair out, I can tell they're not very pleasant to work with. And I go, and I'm trying to stay as close as I can to the other one at the bottom, and then as close to each other as I can without going into the same hole or making the holes join together, which makes it a big hole, and then we've got a problem. So I pull out, I bring down, and I poke. Sometimes I can do more than one at a time, but when I want them real close, it's easier if I just do one at a time. Because when I do more than one, sometimes they're not, like I'm going to do it here, they won't be as close together as I want to have them. That one wasn't bad at all, but like I said, sometimes. I need to fix a gap, so I'm going to try to go right in between there. Yeah, there you go. It's a thick strand. I'm pulling it out. I'm throwing it away. I do waste a lot of hair with this, but I'm real picky about what I put in, what I root in. And I don't want a black one right next to a black one. We'll put a red one in there. Okay, I missed, so I'm going in the same hole. Okay. And I think the fact that I miss also makes me take longer than most rooters do. I work slow. Everything I do is slow. I paint slow. I do everything, and I like for things to sit for a while, and I like to look at them, and I like to study them. And here we have, again, they're stuck together. So I'm going to cut that. I'm wasting all of that. Okay. Right now I have 3 babies that are for sale, 3 that are waiting to be rooted, and I have 3 that are needing to be finished being painted. So I have a lot. I got behind in February. The first week in February I got COVID, so I was out of commission for about 12 days, and that set me behind. Plus this baby here has set me behind because it's taking me longer than I was thinking it would take me. She's been I don't know that she's more tedious than Emmy. I did Emmy by Bountiful Baby, the toddler Emmy. She was something else to do too. But this one her head is even bigger than Emmy. So her arms and her legs are super big. But her shoe size, though, is going to be smaller than Emmy. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway, she's been fun to do. I just wish I worked a little bit faster because maybe it wouldn't take